Something beyond comprehension is happening to a little girl on this street, in this house. A man has been sent for, as a last resort, to try and save her.
And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a new episode of the Movie Dawgs Show, Horror Edition. Alright, this is the second to last episode of this series of episodes that revolve around horror films for the month of October. This time we're going to talk about one of the creme de la creme of horror films, 1973's The Exorcist. It was based off the book by William Peter Bailey, if I'm saying that right. God, I hope I am. He was the author. He also, I believe, co-wrote the screenplay as well. It was directed by the late William Franken, who just passed away a few months ago. One of the finest directors to come out of the late 60s and throughout the 70s. Wonderful director. I highly recommend you check out his films. The French Connection, To Live and Die in L.A., hell, even Cruising. Check him out, folks. But this is his most notable work, was The Exorcist. One of the first horror films to be nominated for an Oscar. It's just one of the staples of the 1970 suspense horror films to come out of that decade. You can count Rosemary's Baby or Texas Chainsaw Massacre, many countless films that came out during that era. 1970s is enriched with a lot of great films that were experimental or broke new ground or just scared the hell out of people. But it's one of these films that, people just talked about and just analyzed. It was based on a book that was based on a true story that William Peter Bailey had heard. It revolves around a little girl who was possessed by the devil, and that's pretty much all you get. You Max von Sheldon, who was in this, one of the best actors to come around. I mean, the man played chess with death. If you check out the film Seven Sealed with Aaron Bergman. But again, he finds his artifacts and feels that he's dealt with this entity before, and his character is the Exorcist. He's the foremost and prolific and strongest of any of the priests that were able to handle it. It's hard enough being a parent, but knowing when your child's sick and you don't know what to do. And this film really also, William Franken really captured the agony, of what Reagan, who was played wonderfully by Linda Blair, her mother, Ellen Bernstein, Academy Award-winning actress. After this, she went on to star in a Martin Scorsese film, Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore. But they were able to capture that mother and daughter dynamic, and a mother watching her child go through all this pain, just like as of an illness. You know, how we've all been down that road. I've been down that road myself. My daughter had brain surgery when she was about 3 years old. God, it was the scariest thing ever. And, you know, and I've seen a lot of illnesses and ups and downs and death in my family and my personal life. I can relate now more so that I've been a father 3 times over for almost 20 years, and I can understand. And that captures, it makes it, again, as time goes on, these films give you different feelings. But when it comes to this, is that the fact that the character of Regan has been possessed by pure, unadulterated, uncorrupted evil. It really, it will make you think about your beliefs or your thoughts and your wisdom, or what it challenges existence altogether. But again, and also when it comes to the priest who doubts his faith, doubts, you know, of course, by then, you know, technology and, you know, the more studies into multiple personality and stuff like that, you know, a lot of especially in the Catholic Church, had looked upon a lot of exorcists as just that, you know, that, you know, were they demon possessed, or were they experiencing these multiple personality disorders, or whatever they're calling it now. I know that it's changed since then, but it really brings into the whole aspect. I mean, Father Damien, who's played by Jason Miller, it really makes you think and doubt, especially, you know, I'm sure there's a lot of Catholic priests out there that doubted their decisions on becoming one, or they tested their faith. And of course, you also have to understand, you know, what drives a man to come to conclusions of such nature. But I'm also going to have to really give this film's the special effects was, you know, practical. Obviously, there was no computer generated imagery as they are now, but the makeup effects and the way the editing, you know, the precise editing to make this look real and make you, you know, it's one of those movies that, how did they do that? And how did they go there? And of course, the room itself where you know, Linda Blair's character was getting The Exorcist done, you know, they basically were in a freezer where they set it up, you know, so it can be cold. You can see their breath. Of course, you see this iconic image right here. It was actually based on a painting. I wish I can remember the name of the painting, but that was the poster. Sorry, I veered off there for a minute. But again, the practical effects was just, you know, the small little details, you know, that's what really helps and defies a special effect. Of course, this film also was notorious for people and their love for pea soup. Of course, you know, character of Linda Blair projectile vomits green stuff, which was actually pea soup, onto the priest. But this film, again, the acolytes that it got and the legendary status that it got, it, you know, winner of the 73 Oscars Best Adapted Screenplay and Sound. You know, it was the darling of the Oscars that year. But I believe it was nominated for Best Picture. Can't remember who won in 73, but again, I mean, it's one of those high watermark moments in horror cinema, and it really didn't have to, wasn't blood or guts. It was just relentless, emotional, raw emotion that really pushed this film. And William Franken did it in spades. I mean, the book itself is just reading it itself, and I did back in middle school. It spooked the hell out of you. It goes into more detail, but the visually aspects of the theatrical experience. William Franken went back to this film a couple times and re-edited it, and actually re-released it on theaters. I went to go see it in theaters. But there's some people out there that are like, "Oh, it's not scary." I'm like, well, of course, you're watching gore all the time, and of course you see it on television too. Some things just doesn't work for other people. But if you look into it, the psychological aspects of The Exorcist, on top of the spiritual and religious tones that the film itself represents, you'll understand it and appreciate this film a whole lot more. Of course, it's been well over, God, I think it's been 50 years now. Yeah, and almost 50 years. This year may mark 50 years that this film had come out, and there's a sequel out, or a fifth film called The Exorcist Believer, and Ellen Burstyn had returned for, I guess, a cameo or something of that nature. I haven't seen the film yet. I've heard not so good things about it. Gentlemen, I'm going to give him a shout out. Peter Anthony, filmmaker himself, very good filmmaker of some wonderful Friday the 13th fan film, or fan art. I'm sorry, I'm not going to call them fan films. Fan art. I asked him. He gave his opinion. He said it was a waste of talents of Ellen Bernstein's appearance in the film, and that I asked him on Facebook. I'm like, well, does it make Exorcist 2 look like Citizen Kane? He says, I've got home movies that'll make it look like Citizen Kane. So, I mean, am I giving, I haven't seen the movie. I haven't seen the new one. Hell, I haven't even seen both versions of The Exorcist 4. As far as I'm concerned, Exorcist 3, stop right there, which I'll do my own review on Exorcist 3, folks. Trust me. Underrated film. But, again, folks, what is your thoughts on The Exorcist? Of course, what is your favorite moment in this film? And how did you react the first time that you watched this film? Leave that down on the comment section below, folks. Don't forget, hit the like button, subscribe away, and, leave, leave your comments down below. And don't forget about our sponsors. If there was in between the breaks, we don't forget about the many wonderful offers they have in store for you. All right, folks. Well, I hope I gave you enough little details and gave you my viewpoints on this film. Again, folks, this has been an amazing month. I've had so much fun discussing these films, and I'm just a big fan of horror. Love the month of October. My birthday's coming up, or by now, I think, whenever this airs, my birthday's passed. I don't know. It's on the 25th of October, folks. So if you're watching this and birthday hasn't happened yet, wish me a happy birthday. All right, folks. Well, that's all the time I got for this episode of the Movie Dog Show. We got one more episode for this month of October in the horror edition, and do check it out. It's going to be a big one. All right, folks. That's all the time I got. That's the Movie Dog Show. Thanks for watching. Please keep on watching, folks. Bye.